So after spending last night watching these really depressing films, this morning I went to see Ice Age 4. Bit of a contrast. Ice Age, Continental Drift. Okay, so this is the next in a long ongoing set of Ice Age films from 20th Century Fox, and this is about the characters from the other Ice Age films. It's set around the time when the continents came into pass through quite actually some hilarious and comical events at the beginning, and they drift off away from the rest of their family and friends, and then the three friends have to find their way back. And on their way back they bump into villain Captain Gut, which sets up the basis for the rest of the story. Okay, so when I first saw the trailers in cinemas, a lot of people I was with and various people around the cinema, they all groaned, and that's because it's starting to feel like it's a giant cash grab, the Ice Age series, because they've not got the lasting appeal of, like, say, Toy Story or the Shrek films. They're just more fun orientated. You know, one or two were fine, but when you get to the fourth one down, it starts to become a little bit tedious. And actually the film's doesn't feel entirely like a cash-in. It actually has some fun in it. It has some genuinely funny and clever dialogue just hidden within it for younger audiences and older audiences. It also has some nice messages as well about family, about, you know, at a young age when you start finding like girlfriends and boyfriends, etc, etc. But because these films have never been about an emotionally engaging story, you never really feel emotionally engaged within these plot strands and these messages. So it's more towards a younger audience and, you know, just teaching them ways. Well, attempting to teach them ways. There is one plot strand though which just felt so wrong and out of place, and that's the one involving Sid's parents. They come in at the beginning and then they go off again, and the whole Ice Age, in the first Ice Age they abandoned him, and in this one they abandon him again, and you think that this is going to be some sort of message about family that's going to get resolved, and it never really does, and it just seems like it's a plot device to bring in a character, and it just kind of feels a bit morally wrong. It's not really sending out a nice message, you know. It's a really sensitive subject, you know, abandonment of a child, and it's never really delved into, and it's just completely brushed past and used as a plot device. But that being said, the character that comes from it is a genuinely funny character, and it's Sid's grandmother, and most of her lines had everyone in the cinema that I was with, you know, laughing and giggling along. But I think she would have been a more satisfying character if that plot strand had actually gone somewhere and came to a tight conclusion instead of just going absolutely nowhere. And I mean, the 3D was fine, it was nothing spectacular. After about 20 minutes it became kind of redundant after you've got used to the fact that it's in 3D, and you kind of just don't notice it anymore, and that could be due to the plot immersion, or it could be to the fact that the 3D is nothing spectacular. I think the main drawback from this film is it never has a wide audience. It either caters from one point to a young age or one point to a higher age. It's never like the Toy Story films or the Shrek films, which were all ages could enjoy them and get an emotionally captivating experience. Ice Age is more of like a 90-minute ride, and once it's done, it's done. You'll probably never talk about it again, you might not even see it again, and you'll probably forget most of it a couple of days after seeing it. And I realise it's not trying to be in the same league as like Toy Story or something, but when you're having a family film, you expect it to be catering to all ages, like they did, but it never really reaches that height. One last thing I will say as well is the Simpsons short before it is actually a genuinely funny short film, and it's actually really beautifully drawn, and some of the 3D within that 2D short is quite effective and great. So definitely try not to miss that Simpsons short. So overall I'm going to give Ice Age 2.5 out of 5. I mean, it's a fun time while you're there. I mean, it's got some problems, especially that strand with Sid's family, but you know, it's not terrible. I mean, you wouldn't go on your own, but if you have kids or a little brother or a little sister and you sat through it, you'd probably find some enjoyment and have a nice 90-minute ride. And as usual, if you like this, just click subscribe and you can see more.
Ice Age 4 Continental Drift.
You're pretty soft, or Saber.
Excuse me, I happen to be a remorseless assassin.
Diego Poo! Hey, I made you another coral necklace. He keeps losing them.